I don't know my roots. A young man said that casually, like it didn't matter.
What?
Then, the old man sitting beside him was quiet, and suddenly he asked, "Really?"
I ain't playing.
The young man looked at him and said, "I know I'm African, I know my tribe, that's enough."
You cannot be serious.
Yet, the old man wasn't convinced, so he asked the young man, "What is your great-grandfather's name?" The young man became silent.
Ouch him!
The young man kept staring at the ground, and then the old man asked again, "What village was your family before they moved to the city?" The young man was silent. He didn't have an answer to the questions that the old man was asking. However, the old man wasn't finished yet. He asked him, "What kind of jobs were your ancestors doing before mundane jobs?" The boy still don't know what to say. The old man nodded and said, "The conversation is getting to the interesting part now." And he said, "You can name the footballers in Europe, you can name American rappers, you can name Nollywood stars. Yet, you don't know who you are." Those words landed on the young man like a heavy stone. For the first time in the conversation, the young man felt uncomfortable. He knew so much about strangers. However, he knows little and almost nothing about himself. After the conversation with the old man, he left, quietly, confused, and wasn't sure of what he's going to think about. So that same evening, he met his grandmother. Then he asked his grandmother, "Who were we before now?" Grandmother looked at him and smiled. Finally, a generation want to trace back to know their roots. And she started. She began with how their forefathers, his great-grandfathers, crossed rivers barefooted, walked kilometers distance to find a new home. She also told him about a legendary woman that was referred to as the Lioness, who helped the whole village to survive famine in the days of scarcity. Then came a story of how warriors protected traders, children, and villagers from the soldiers of the rival community. And then another story, one story led to the other, 10s, 50s, hours passed. And guess what? The young man never looked at his phone for a second. For the first time in his life, he's hearing about something that even the social media cannot give to him. He was hearing about himself. Then he realized something different about himself, different from what he was being taught in school and what was trending on social media. He was hearing the real history about himself, and something became painful about it, because it's not that Africa doesn't have a real history. He realized that the problem was the real history, the real message wasn't passed down because parents became busy with work. Therefore, conversations become shorter, children stopped asking questions. Therefore, shorter stories were shared, grandparents passed away, and with them, entire libraries disappeared. Because in Africa, not all histories are written in books. Some lived inside the elders. However, once those people are gone, the history, the story often disappear with them. Then the woman looked at the young man and said, "My son, if you don't ask about yourself, if you don't ask to know about yourself, one day your children will grow up not knowing where they are from and who they are." Everything began to make sense. The woman added, "History doesn't disappear when people die. It disappears when nobody asks, when the people who has it doesn't pass it to the next generation." And maybe the greatest tragedy is not that most of African stories were taken away. However, millions of stories are still yet to be untold. Thousands of history are still here with us, inside our grandparents, inside our parents, inside our family members, waiting for you to ask, "Who are we?" And then everything you need to know, they'll pass it on to you. Wait, you have things to give to your children when they'll ask about who they are. Follow us for more conversations like this and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's enlighten ourselves about Africa.